Hi guys. All right, so I'm going to I had a Google Meet. Andre and Ayana were there. But we just talked about the quiz, so I didn't post that video, so I'm going to post this video instead. So we're going to read through Act 3, scenes 1 to 2. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. Boop. Okay, and then we are going to look at the questions for that, okay? So I should have just posted it. Let me open this guy in a new tab, which, by the way, will make all of the pages load if they're not loading properly. Okay, so. Boop, boop, boop. Ooh, I might change which PDF is uploaded. Okay, now that I fixed that, now that it doesn't look like trash. Okay, so we're on Act 3. Boop, boop. Oh, it still looks like trash. Well, I'll fix that eventually. Okay, so scene 1. This is Benvolio and Mercutio. They're walking through the town. So Benvolio is the one talking in this first panel. Mercutio is in the black jacket. I beg you, good Mercutio, let's retire. The day is hot and the Capulets are about. If we meet them in the street, there's sure to be a brawl. These hot days make the raging blood boil. You're like one of those fellows who enters a bar, slams his sword on the table, and says, I pray I never have to use this. But by the end of the second cup, he's drawn his sword on the bar, keep for no reason at all. Am I really such a fellow? Come, come, you are as hot blooded as any fool in Italy. When you're in the mood to be angry, you will always find something to be angry about. And what about that? If there were two men such as you, pretty soon there'd be none because each would kill the other. You'd fight a guy who had one whisker more or less than you. You'd fight a man cracking nuts just because your eyes are the color of hazelnuts. Your head's as full of fights as an egg is of yolk, but your head's been scrambled from so much fighting. You've quarreled with a man who coughed in the street because he woke up your dog. Didn't you argue with your tailor for wearing his new doublet before the proper season? And with another for using old laces to tie his new shoes? And yet you're the one who wants to teach me restraint. If I were as hot for a fight as you could have my short life for cheap. Your life? That's ridiculous. And then, ta-da! This is Tybalt. Tybalt enters. He's from the other family. Remember, he's a Capulet. And then we have, and so Mercutio and Benvolio run into them. So we have Montagues and Capulets run into each other in the street. And remember, Tybalt said that he would make Romeo pay for showing up to the party. By my head, it's the Capulets. By my heel, I care not. Follow me closely. I'll talk to them. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'd like a word with one of you. Just one word with one of us? Combine it with something else. Make it a word and a blow. So a blow as in like a punch or some kind of physical. You'll find me ready enough to do that, sir, if you give me a reason. Can you not find a reason without me giving you one? Mercutio, you consort with Romeo. Consort? What do you make us out to be, common players? Get it? Like, consort means like associate with, but also like play in a band. So that makes he's making a pun off of what he just said. If we look like musicians to you, then expect to hear nothing but noise. This is my fiddlestick. I'll use it to make you dance. Consort, is it? We speak here in the public square. Either go somewhere private to discuss your grievances rationally, or else leave. All eyes gaze on us here. Men's eyes were meant to look, so let them watch. I will budge for no man. Well, peace be with you, sir. Here comes my man now. He's no man of yours. If you were to walk onto the battlefield, he'd follow you. In that sense, you might call him your man. Romeo, I can only say one thing to you. You are a villain. Tybalt, I have reason to love you, which allows me to put aside my rage and excuse that insult. I am no villain. Okay, so let's pause there for a second. All right, so what is the weather like at the beginning of Act 3? So I'm going to scroll back up because we probably don't remember. Oh, look, it's already up. Oh, I have two PDFs open. Okay. So, this in this speech bubble, it's not like it's rainy, it's sunny, it's the temperature. That's important. So, what is the temperature? Okay. Who do Mercutio and Benvolio run into in the street? So, the person that they're fighting with, this guy right here, Tybalt. Okay. Who steps in to try to stop them before Romeo arrives? So this is kind of similar to before, right? Very similar. At the very beginning, when there was a fight, um, this person steps in to try to make it stop. He's kind of like the peacekeeper. So we have them fighting, they're fighting, and then this guy steps in. Benvolio. Benvolio steps in, and he's like, wait, like, don't fight here, fight somewhere else. Um, Okay, and then when Tybalt calls him a villain, Romeo says, I have reason to love you. Why? Think about what just happened in the last scene of Act 2 between Romeo and Juliet. How are Juliet and Tybalt related to each other? Okay, so then it goes to who ends up fighting. So that's what we're going to read now. Who tries to break it up but actually just makes things worse? And what is the result of this fight? Ready? Therefore, farewell. I see you know me not. Boy, your words can't excuse the harm you've done to me. Turn and draw your sword. I protest I've done you no harm. I love you better than you can possibly know. And with this, good Capulet, a name I love like my own, be satisfied. Damn your vile submission, Romeo. A sword thrust will carry it away. So Mercutio actually, like, starts it up again. Tybalt, you rat catcher, will you fight me? What do you want from me? Good king of cats, nothing more than one of your 9 lives, and then perhaps I will beat the final 8 out of you. Will you pluck your sword from its sheath? Hurry, or my sword will be against your ears before it's out. I'll fight you. Noble Mercutio, put your sword away. Come, sir, you're passado. So these are the two that end up fighting. Draw your sword, Benvolio. Beat down their weapons. Gentlemen, stop this disgrace. The prince has forbidden dueling in Verona's streets. Stop, Tybalt. Stop, good Mercutio. Ugh! Okay, so who comes in between them? This person who said that he loves Tybalt more than he could ever know. Not like love, not like romantic love, like familial love. But he just makes it worse. So he gets his arm in the way of Mercutio's sightline, and then what happens to Mercutio? Away, Tybalt, away! And Mercutio is crumpled to the ground. So we should have who ends up fighting, who tries to break it up but actually just makes things worse, and then what is the result? So we should have all the way down to 7. Okay. I'm hurt. May a plague curse both your families. I'm finished. Did he get away clean? What? You're hurt? Yes, it's a scratch. Just a scratch. But it's enough. Where's my page? Go, boy, get me a doctor. So, page as in his servant. Like, this is his servant boy. Courage, man. The wound can't be that bad. No, it's not as deep as a well or as wide as a church door, but it'll do the job. Ask for me tomorrow, and you'll find me a grave man. I'm done for in this world. So he even makes a pun as he's bleeding out on the ground. A plague on both your houses. God, that That dog, that mouse, that cat should scratch me to death. That braggart, that villain who duels me like he's doing arithmetic. Why the hell did you come between us? He struck me from under your arm. It was the right thing to do. Take me inside some house, Benvolio, or I'll faint. A plague on both your houses. They've turned me into food for worms. I'm done for. Curse your families. This gentleman, Mercutio, the prince's kinsman and my dear friend, was killed while defending me for Tybalt's slander. Tybalt, who'd been my cousin for a whole hour. Oh, sweet Juliet, your beauty has made me weak as a woman and softened my bravery's steel. Then Benvolio shows back up. Oh, Romeo, brave Mercutio is dead. His bold spirit has floated up to heaven, but it was too early for him to leave this earth. Today's black events will have consequences. Thus begins a terror only the days ahead can end. So Mercutio has died. So he says this quote, ask for me tomorrow and you'll find me a grave man. So grave meaning like sad, but grave also meaning like what we use grave for all the time, really. And it makes sense because Mercutio dies. We're about to get how Romeo reacts. So first he's upset, but then Tybalt comes back. Here comes the furious Tybalt back again. Alive and triumphant and Mercutio dead? Enough with mercy and consideration. Let rage guide my actions now. Now, Tybalt, call me villain again. Mercutio's soul floats just above our heads, waiting for yours to keep him company. Either you or I or both of us must go with him. Wretched boy, you consorted with him here, and you will again. We'll see about that. And so this is how he reacts. He fights Tybalt. So they're fighting, they're fighting, they're fighting, they're fighting. But then Romeo gets Tybalt. And Tybalt falls dead. Romeo, away, begone. The citizens are here and Tybalt is slain. Don't stand there shocked. The prince will execute you if you're caught. Away, begone. Oh, I am fortune's fool. Why are you waiting? And so then he runs away. So how does Romeo react? He fights Tybalt. What is the result of this fight? Romeo kills Tybalt. And then we're about to get what Prince Aeschylus says will happen to Romeo. If he is found, what will happen to him? So at the beginning of the play, Prince Aeschylus says if something like this happens in the streets again, they're going to pay for it with their lives. But it's going to be different. It's not going to be that. It's going to be something else. The man who killed Mercutio, which way did he go? Tybalt, that murderer, which way did he run? Tybalt lies there. Come, sir. Get up, sir, and come with me. I command you by the authority of the prince to obey me. And then he looks at him. Oh, he's dead. Prince Aeschylus shows up. It's this guy with the fancy hat and the bad facial hair. This is Lady Capulet. So this is Juliet's mom. And this is Juliet's dad. Where are the vile men who began this? Oh, noble prince, I can reveal everything of how this fatal brawl unfolded. There lies Tybalt, who slew your kinsman, brave Mercutio, slain in turn by young Romeo. Oh, Tybalt! Oh, my brother's child! Oh, prince! Oh, nephew! Oh, husband! Oh, his blood is spilled! Oh, prince, as you are a man of honor, revenge our blood by shedding the blood of Montague! Oh, cousin! Cousin! Benvolio, who began this fight? Tybalt, who lies here slain. Romeo spoke to him politely, begged him to consider how trivial this quarrel was, and to think how displeased you would be. He uttered all of this with gentle words and calm looks, even kneeling out of respect, but Tybalt was deaf to peace. He thrust his piercing steel at bold Mercutio, who was just as hot for a fight, and met him blow for deadly blow. Romeo cried out, "Stop, friends! Friends part!" Then he rushed between them, and Tybalt reached under Romeo's arm and thrust his sword into brave Mercutio. Then he fled. But soon he returned for Romeo, who was overcome with desire for revenge. They went at it as quick as lightning. Before I could part them, Tybalt was slain. As Tybalt fell, Romeo fled. This is the truth, I swear on my life. Benvolio is kinsman to the Montagues. His loyal ties make him lie. That's Lady Capulet on the ground with Tybalt. He speaks not the truth. Some 20 Montagues fought in this black riot, and all those 20 could kill only one man. I beg for justice, which you, prince, must give. Romeo slew Tybalt. Romeo must die. Romeo killed Tybalt. Tybalt killed Mercutio, who should now pay the price for Mercutio's life. Not Romeo, prince. Mercutio was Romeo's friend. His crime was an act of justice. Oh, okay, so this is Lord Montague. This is Romeo's dad, and this is, I guess this is, oh, that's just Prince Escalus' arm. And for that crime, Romeo is hereby exiled from Verona. So he is kicked out. Romeo is banished from the city. He's not allowed to come back. So that's what he says shall happen to Romeo. But if he's found, what will happen to him? Now I'm involved in your hateful rivalry. My kinsman's blood has been shed by your brawls. I'll punish you so harshly you will regret causing me this loss. I will be deaf to pleas and excuses. No tears or prayers will free you from trouble, so use none. Tell Romeo to leave Verona immediately. If he is found, he will be killed. Take away this body and enact my will. Mercy is like murder when we pardon those who kill. Okay, so he's banished, and if he's found, he'll be killed. So that'll be number 11. Okay, so for scene 2, what's supposed to happen between Romeo and Juliet? So this has to do with the rope ladder. So they just got married. This is an hour. This fight happens an hour after they get married. And they're about to, and Romeo's supposed to show up to Juliet's and do some post-marriage stuff. So that's for number 1. So what are they supposed to do? And then number 2 is the nurse and Juliet have a huge misunderstanding. What Capulet do we know is dead, and who does Juliet think is dead? Okay. So the nurse is not very good at communicating, is something we've learned. All right. Scene 2. Gallop, you fiery steeds, and pull down the sun's chariot. Night, spread your dark curtain so that Romeo may come to me and leap into my arms unseen. In the darkness, lovers can see by the light of their own beauty. Or if love is blind, then it belongs to the darkness. Come, night, you solemn widow, all in black. Calm the blood that's rushing to my cheeks and teach this shy, restless bird to be tame. In the darkness, show me how to surrender my purity. Come, Romeo, you shine like daylight in the night, brighter against the darkness than white snow on a raven's wing. Come, gentle night, come, loving, dark night, give me my Romeo, and when I die, take him and cut him out into little stars. His face will make the heavens so beautiful that the world will fall in love with the night and forget the garish sun. Oh, I have bought love's mansion, but have yet to occupy it. I have been sold, but not yet enjoyed. Today's gone so slowly. I'm like a child on the night before a festival, waiting to wear her new clothing. Oh, here comes my nurse, and she brings news. Every voice that mentions Romeo's name is heavenly. How, nurse, what's the news? Is that the rope ladder Romeo had you fetch? Yes, yes, this is the ladder. Nurse, what's the news? Why do you look so upset? Oh, wretched day! He's dead! He's dead! We're ruined, lady, ruined! He's gone! He's been killed! He's dead! Can God be so jealous and hateful? Romeo can, even though God cannot. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, who would have thought it would be Romeo? What kind of devil are you to torture me like this? They should scream like that in hell. Has Romeo killed himself? If you say I, that sound will poison me quicker than a cockatrice's evil eye. I will no longer be myself. If Romeo is dead, say I. If not, no. Brief words determine my joy or woe. I saw the wound. I saw it with my own eyes. God bless that wound, a pitiful corpse, a bloody, pitiful corpse. Pale as ashes and drenched in blood. Oh, the gore and the blood! I fainted when I saw it. Oh, my heart is breaking. My bankrupt heart is breaking. I'll send my eyes to prison and they'll never be free to see again. I'll bury my vile body in the earth and it will never move again. My body will embrace Romeo's in a single heavy coffin. Okay, so there's a big misunderstanding, right? So she comes in, a nurse comes in, and nurse is like upset and she just says, he's dead. And Juliet is assuming who is dead. Nurse knows what she means. Like nurse knows that she means Tybalt. She means Tybalt is dead, but that's not what Juliet is hearing. So that's for number 2. We know that Tybalt is dead, but Juliet thinks somebody else is dead. Who is that? So that's what you guys have to answer. Okay. Oh, Tybalt, Tybalt, he was the best friend I had, a courteous, honorable gentleman. I wish I hadn't lived long enough to see him die. So now she finally says who actually died. What disaster is this? Is Romeo slain, and is Tybalt dead too? Tybalt was my dearest cousin. Romeo, my husband, even dearer. Let the trumpets play the song of doom, because who can be alive if those two are gone? Tybalt is dead, and Romeo is banished. Romeo killed Tybalt, and his punishment was banishment. Oh God, did Romeo's hand shed Tybalt's blood? It did, it did. Curse the day it happened, but it did. Oh, what a serpent Romeo is, and disguised as a flower! Did a dragon ever hide in such a beautiful cave? Beautiful tyrant, fiendish angel, a sweet lamb that prays like a wolf. Oh, that such a hateful man could appear so divine! He's exactly the opposite of what he seemed. He's both damned and a saint, both honorable and a villain. Oh, nature, what business did you have in hell? How could you plant the soul of a devil in the body of an angel? Was there ever such an evil book with such a beautiful cover? So she finds out the truth and she's immediately turning. She's immediately like, how could Romeo do this? Romeo is evil and horrible. And how did I marry such a horrible human being? She's like, just switches her loyalty like on the, like immediately. Um, so who was Tybalt to Juliet? So her cousin. We're gonna keep going. Oh, that such deceit should dwell in such a gorgeous place. There is no trust, no honesty in men. All lie, all cheat, wicked ones all. Where's my servant? Bring me some brandy. So then she walks out, Juliet walks out on her balcony. These griefs, these sorrows, these pains make me old. Shame on Romeo. I hope sores cover your tongue for a wish like that. Shame does not belong with Romeo. He deserves only honor, complete honor. Oh, I was a beast to be angry at him. So all of a sudden, now she's back. Now she's like, actually, my bad. I didn't mean to say those things. She said a lot of things. She said a lot of very angry, aggressive things. Will you speak well of the man who killed your cousin? Should I speak ill of my husband? My poor husband, who will sing your praises when I, your wife of 3 hours, have mangled your good name. But why, you villain, did you kill my cousin? Because that villain, my cousin, would have killed you back. Foolish tears. I cry with joy that Romeo is alive, but should weep with grief that Tybalt is dead. My husband, who Tybalt wished to kill, is alive. Tybalt, who wished to kill my husband, is dead. All this is comforting news. Why then should I cry? But there was a word worse than the news of Tybalt's death, a word that made me want to die. I would gladly forget it, but it weighs on my memory like guilt on the mind of a sinner. Tybalt is dead and Romeo is banished. That banished is worse than the murder of 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's dead would be bad enough, if that was all. Or perhaps misery loves company and insists that pain be followed by more pain. If only the nurse had followed Tybalt's dead by telling me that my mother or father or both were gone, I could have tolerated it. But to follow that with the words Romeo is banished is like saying that my father, my mother, Tybalt, Romeo, and Juliet are all slain, all dead. Romeo is banished. That is an endless death. No words can express that pain. So we get that Juliet's way more dramatic than Romeo. So this kind of explains how Juliet feels about Romeo's banishment and Tybalt's murder. She's upset about Tybalt's murder, but not so much as Romeo's banishment. She thinks Romeo's banishment is the worst thing ever. She even says Romeo's banishment is worse than what? It's all right here. Here and here. There's a couple things. In these two bubbles, really. What is it worse than? There's a couple of things. So having to do with her mother and father, and having to do with this right here. Okay. Um. All right. So we're gonna see Nurse be a real ride or die. So she's going to agree to do something for Juliet. Oh, looks like I messed up the copy. Um. Great. Okay. So she says. Okay, so all right, I'm just going to kind of read this to you. So this is what Nurse says. She says, "Go to your chamber. I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I know where he is and he will be with you tonight. I'll go to him. He's hiding in Friar Lawrence's cell." So she's essentially just going to tell him to come see Juliet. She's going to um get Romeo to come see Juliet before he has to leave Verona forever. So it's that she does for her, which makes her like just a really cool person. Nurse is just cool. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. So I will fix this PDF before I do anything else, and that would be it. So that should be the last question. So she agrees to find Romeo and get him to come to Juliet before he has to leave forever. All right. Toodaloo.